You wake up 2 minutes before your alarm. Every single day, no clock needed anymore. Your body just knows. You're not grinding. You're not chasing some 5 a.m. hustle quote. You just go to bed early and let your own rhythm run the show. Your house is a plain 3-bedroom on a street nobody photographs for Instagram. You bought it 14 years ago for $198,000. Today, it's worth $410,000, and it's been paid off for 4 years straight. Right now, this morning, in this ordinary kitchen, you are worth $2.6 million. Not one neighbor knows it. Not your coworkers. Not your cousin with the leased Range Rover who spent last Christmas explaining why owning a home is a scam. You just smiled and passed the mashed potatoes. You reach for the same style of shirt you've worn for a decade. 6 identical ones hang in the closet. This isn't about being cheap. It's about never spending a single unit of decision-making energy on something that doesn't matter. Coffee brews at home, not from a drive-through window. That alone saves close to $2,000 a year. But the money was never really the point. The real prize was becoming someone who makes a decision once and never revisits it. While the coffee drips, you check your accounts. 90 seconds, once a day. That's the entire relationship you have with your money. $1.9 million sits quietly in 3 index funds: domestic stocks, international stocks, and a bond fund that's been growing since you turned 40. You haven't sold a single share in 21 years. Not during the crash that erased a third of your balance overnight. Not during the year everyone online swore the whole system was collapsing. You just kept buying every 2 weeks, like clockwork, like a bill you pay to your future self. $410,000 sits in home equity, fully yours. The deed lives in a small fireproof box beside your passport and one photo of your mother. $180,000 waits in a taxable brokerage account. Your bridge, the money that lets you walk away before retirement accounts unlock, $54,000 sits in cash. 16 months of expenses doing nothing exciting, and that's exactly the job it's supposed to do. Cash isn't for growing. Cash is for never being forced to sell your investments on the worst possible day. And $31,000 sits quietly in a college fund for your nephew, a fund nobody in the family has ever asked about. Total, $2.6 million, give or take whatever the market decided to do overnight. You shut the laptop. The market will move today, up or down, and you will do absolutely nothing about it. That's the whole skill. It took you 2 decades to build, and it costs nothing but patience. You drive a 6-year-old sedan with 96,000 miles, bought used, paid in cash. At a red light, a brand new pickup truck pulls up beside you. Sticker price, north of $70,000. Statistically, he's financing it. Somewhere around $1,050 a month for 6 years. You're not judging him. But you also can't help doing the math. That same $1,050 invested monthly instead becomes close to $1 million over 25 years. That truck isn't a truck. It's a future millionaire that will simply never exist. The light turns green. He roars off. You sip coffee from a chipped mug that came free with a work conference badge. Here's the part that throws people off. You still work. Operations manager, 12 years in, $104,000 a year. Solid money, but nowhere near secret millionaire money. Nobody looks at your worn backpack and thinks you could buy the building. You work because you genuinely like the work, and because every single paycheck now is optional. That does something to how you carry yourself in a meeting. When leadership floats a bad plan, you say it plainly, I don't think that's going to work, and here's why. You can afford honesty. The most expensive thing in any office, and you're one of the only people fully paid up for it. 18 months ago, they offered you a promotion. More money, far more meetings, far more stress. You said no, thank you. Your manager looked genuinely confused. That raise would have moved your retirement date up by a few months. The stress would have taken years off somewhere else. This is what real money actually buys. Not the car, not the watch. The ability to say no. Mid-morning, a younger coworker catches you refilling your water bottle. Maya, 24, sharp, quietly overwhelmed. Can I ask you something kind of random? You seem like you've got your stuff together. I've got about $7,000 in credit card debt, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what half of it even went to. You could lecture her. You don't. You remember being 24 with debt that felt heavier as shame than as an actual number. Instead, you tell her the two lines that changed everything for you. Pay yourself first, automatically, before the money ever touches your hands. And never carry a balance on anything that doesn't grow in value. That's it. Everything else is just commentary. You don't mention the $2.6 million. You never do. But that afternoon, you send her a link to the one book that started it all for you 20 years ago. Lunch is leftovers in a scratched plastic container, about $4 worth of food. Around you, coworkers order $17 delivery and complain about being broke in the very same sentence. You used to feel a little superior about that. Now it just embarrasses you to remember. Somewhere around your first $500,000, the smugness burned off completely and something calmer took its place. You're not eating leftovers to prove a point anymore. You genuinely don't want the delivery version more. That's the part no influencer can package and sell. Past a certain point, restraint stops feeling like restraint. It just becomes what you actually prefer. While you eat, you read a paperback, not financial news. You stopped following daily market commentary years ago. And, oddly, your results got better the moment you stopped watching. That tells you everything you need to know. A guy near the window is day trading on his phone, jaw tight, thumb scrolling. You feel something closer to tenderness than judgment. You were him once, for about 7 months in your late 20s. It cost you $9,000 to learn that in that game, you were never the customer. You were the product. Your phone buzzes. Not a financial advisor. You've never had one. It's your sister. Her car's transmission just died. $1,600 she doesn't have and desperately doesn't want to ask for. You hear it in her voice. That tight, rehearsed apology for existing tone. You remember that sound from the inside, from years ago. I'll send it this afternoon, you say. You're not alone in this. She starts to say she'll pay you back. It's not alone, you tell her. Cars break. That's not a character flaw. You transfer the money from your cash reserve. It quietly refills itself from surplus you never even notice missing. Here's the math. Nobody puts in a headline. $1,600 is a fraction of a single % of your net worth. For your sister, it was a crisis about to land on a 26% interest credit card, the kind of debt that snowballs into thousands over a year. The best return you'll ever earn in your life is erasing an emergency from someone you love. No index fund can do that for you. Mid-afternoon, a weak moment. A watch you've quietly wanted for 2 years drops in price. You could afford it the way most people afford a coffee. It sits in your cart. Then you run the old ritual. The question was never, can I afford it? That question retired years ago. It's 3 smaller questions now. Will I still want this in 30 days? Am I buying the object or the feeling? And who, exactly, am I buying it for? You sit with that last one, the longest. The honest answer, more often than not, is strangers. And your whole financial life was built on refusing to pay for strangers' opinions. You close the tab, not out of willpower, but recognition. Maybe you'll come back to it in 30 days. Maybe you won't. Your favorite jacket passed this same test 2 winters ago, and you've worn it every week since without a shred of regret. The ritual isn't a wall. It's a filter. And a good filter lets the right things through. Someday, someone will find out about the money and ask for the secret, expecting crypto or a lucky stock pick or a hidden inheritance. There wasn't one. Your father's layoff took care of any illusions about inheritance a long time ago. At 22, you started investing 15% of a $38,000 salary, about $475 a month, and it genuinely felt like losing a limb. Every raise after that, half went toward living better, half went straight into the machine, until the machine was quietly eating almost a third of a comfortable income, and you'd stopped noticing entirely. You stayed married. You stayed insured. You never financed another car after the first one. You weren't a brilliant investor. You were just remarkably good at not interrupting the process. 21 years. That's the real secret. There isn't one, just a long, quiet stretch with no shortcuts. Most people quit early because the walls have no windows and nobody claps for you in there. Compounding is the one kind of miracle that only rewards people who ignore it. Your net worth crossed $100,000 after 6 years. The next $100,000 took 2.5 years. The most recent $100,000 took 4 months. The corridor has no windows, but it does have an exit, and the exit looks exactly like an ordinary Wednesday afternoon like this one. You pull into your driveway at 5:45. Your neighbor Rick waves from his lawn. Rick with the boat, the camper, 2 newer SUVs, and a home equity line he tapped for a kitchen remodel. Rick makes more money than you do. By every visible measure, Rick is winning. You'd guess Rick couldn't survive 4 months without a paycheck. You're not better than Rick. His boat makes real memories, and there's no spreadsheet that can measure that. But you've also watched the other version of this story play out. You watched your father get laid off at 56 with $6,000 in the bank and real fear in his eyes. At 18, in one cold, permanent moment, you decided nobody would ever be able to do that to you. Every identical shirt, every paid-off car, every automatic transfer. It's just an 18-year-old keeping a promise, one ordinary week at a time. The neighbors see a plain house and an aging sedan. They can't see the promise underneath it. Invisible wealth is still wealth. Visible wealth, half the time, is just expensive noise. Dinner is with your wife. You didn't build any of this alone. On your third date, 20 years ago, she told you she had $4,500 saved and an actual plan for it. You fell for her right there. 4 real money arguments in 2 decades. Each one resolved the same way. A standing meeting, first Sunday of the month, 30 minutes, coffee, the numbers laid out on the table. No ambushes, no secrets. Money problems in a marriage are rarely math problems. They're almost always surprise problems. You simply deleted the surprises. After dinner, the same 2-mile loop you've walked most nights for years. A podcast host asked this morning, "What's your number? When is it finally enough?" You passed your number about $800,000 ago. Nothing happened. No confetti, no finish line feeling. The number just became a bigger number, and you kept walking the same loop, still exactly you. That's the lesson that showed up after the money, not before it. The finish line was never real. What money actually gave you arrived years earlier, gradually. The day you stopped dreading the mail. The day a layoff rumor didn't even register. The day you learned how to say no out loud. Wealth was never the number on the screen. Wealth is the sheer absence of problems in your life. The car repair, the layoff, the market crash, the root canal, all of it quietly diffused before it can spread. You're a machine that turns money into calm. That's the entire business model. You read in bed. Tomorrow, 1 meeting, a dentist appointment, and your nephew's birthday next weekend. Someday he'll open a letter explaining exactly what's been quietly growing since the year he was born. That will be the loudest thing your money will ever do. Today you earned $412, spent $38, sent $1,600 to someone who needed it, and walked away from a watch. Nobody clapped. Nobody knows. Tomorrow the market opens, rises or falls, and you'll do absolutely nothing about it. Beautifully, on purpose, again. Because when real wealth finally, permanently belongs to you, it stops making any noise at all, and so do you.